Welcome back to Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Ollie Hayes, and today I'm bringing some breaking news from Everton themselves, and they have today confirmed that James Tarkowski has signed a new contract extension at the club. This will take his current stay at Everton until June 2028, so it's a two-year extension on his current 1 year left of his deal. And this one came out of the blue, really. There was not really a lot of talk going around with James Tarkowski signing a new contract, but it is good news all round for the club. I think it's a fantastic piece of business. But today I'm just going to take a step back and look at the bigger picture and give you my thoughts on James Tarkowski's new contract. And we'll start by taking a step back and looking at the facts of James Tarkowski and his time at Everton. In his 3 years here since he signed in June 2022, he's played 128 games, scoring four times. There's a certain goal which is probably more notable than the rest of the other three in that four goals during his time at Everton, which I'll get onto later in the video. But 128 games at Everton, it just shows how good of a consistent performer he has been. He's been so consistent in the last few years, obviously going through a lot of relegation battles, two in particular, obviously staying up against AFC Bournemouth on the final day with a 1-0 victory there through Abdoulaye Doucouré, but then also the sort of kind of relegation battle under Sean Dyche in the second to last season at Goodison. Obviously, we beat Liverpool in that same week. We beat Nottingham Forest, and James Tarkowski was a large part of that. So, two relegation battles. He's had a real tough time at Everton in terms of being in and around the bottom three, scrapping around there. But one thing I will note with Tarkowski and his consistency, he made 111 consecutive starts before his Manchester City injury in April of this year. So it just shows the amount of consistency that he showed for us. I think it was either the record or close to the record of consecutive starts made for Everton in the Premier League. So again, it just shows how consistent he has been in an Everton shirt, and obviously since he signed under Frank Lampard. But not to mention, all of this was for a free transfer. I think a lot of people forget that we didn't actually pay a fee for James Tarkowski, and a lot of people have said, "Oh, maybe he's on too many wages, he's on too high of a wage." But with a player like that, and you're getting him on a free transfer, obviously you don't have to pay the transfer fee. I think paying him a higher wage is completely fair enough, and you just don't get that anymore in terms of free transfers. You don't get the levels of consistency, you don't get the levels of quality that he has showed us in a free transfer. It just doesn't really happen anymore. They're very few and far between free transfers, and if you can get a good one like this one, it really does show. And I think it's arguably one of the best signings we've made in recent years, James Tarkowski on a free transfer. Obviously, to lure him away from Burnley, to not sign a contract there, I think was big enough, especially with them being our relegation rivals in that season. But as I said before, you just don't really see these kind of deals anymore. So I think for me, he's massively deserving of a new contract. I think he's a great player to have around the dressing room, great player to have around the club. The fans love him. It's clear to see that the rest of the squad love him. So long may it continue for James Tarkowski at Everton. I think he's massively deserved it, and he showed the level of consistency and performances that we want to see from an Everton player, and especially on a free transfer. So good decision by the club to get it done this early in the season. Obviously, we've seen in recent seasons that contracts negotiations and situations have dragged on. Obviously, I said it during the summer that one of the biggest pieces of business we were going to do is the Jared Branthwaite extension. So to obviously sign James Tarkowski, who's another key defender for us, and get it done this early in the season, I think it can obviously have a good effect on the rest of the squad, but also Tarkowski himself, because he doesn't have that looming over him. He doesn't have to sort of overimpose himself to try and get a contract. He can just play to the normal level of consistency and the normal level of quality that we know he does have in it. But we're talking about James Tarkowski, and it would be rude not to mention that Merseyside derby goal, the last goal at Goodison Park in a Merseyside derby under the light, making it 2-2. What an atmosphere that evening, and fingers crossed he can create as many more memories just like that at Hill Dickinson Stadium. But all in all, my final thoughts: it's a great piece of business. He's a great mentor for the rest of the squad. You're looking at Jared Branthwaite as well, for example. He's a great mentor to him, and long may it continue. It's well deserved for James Tarkowski. But let me know your thoughts in the comments about the new contract for James Tarkowski. Are you happy with the length of it? Do you think he maybe should have been given less? Do you think he should have been given more? Let me know your thoughts in the comments about it. But that is all from me today. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.